All right. So this is going to be your course bag. And what the most important thing when it comes to 9093 and specifically for paper 2. So you can give the heading in your notebook and there will be certain points that you need to keep in your mind. We have got paper 1. I taught you an intro, the basics to how to create um, point, quote, and comment. And I showed you one of the samples in a very short and precise paragraph. How do you need to do that? But this paper 2 is very much different in its own way. Why is that, Suvita? This is called your paper 2 and it is the writing paper. So technically, I haven't showed you exactly what your paper looks like. I will be in the later half of my class. But for now, you need to know that when you are writing in paper 2, you need to be inspired. You need to think that you are a future novel publishing, you belong to a future novel publishing agency. Perhaps you are trying to write down something which is extraordinary and more powerful. So you need to keep a writer's journal. This is for your personal interest that I'm telling you. If you keep this habit alive, you can create a wonderful, a magical composition. So you need to be motivated to create something which is really out there, but you're incorporating it in your writing. So the big question is always, what can I write about in my writer's journal? In many ways, the better question is, what can't go in your notebook? What can't go in your writing journal? The only thing I really don't want to see as a teacher are homework assignments from other classes and diary type entries. There are many things you may put into your notebook as entries. I'm not saying you will be writing the whole thing. This is apart from the syllabus that I'm setting up a criteria that you need to write about certain things which can move you. Write about, these are the pointers that I'm giving you to have that enthusiasm to write. Write about what moves you. Write about what moves you, Shiza. What makes you cry? If you can, think of something funny, words you like, some of the vocabulary words, conversation you've had or heard somewhere. Paint a character with words. Write a letter you would send. Write a letter you would never send. Now, over here, some of my students were like, yeah, Miss Nadia, don't tell us. Like, why would we write a letter which we are unable to send? Can you please tell me, is there, if you are given, Shiza and Aisha, an opportunity to write down a letter? I know we are living in the world of an Instagram and Twitter, and we have WhatsApp, but writing at the core has something more special to it. It carries the warmth of your persona. It communicates to people what you actually are in real. Sometimes you don't want to disclose who you are actually, so you give another character's name but write your own intention. Play the what if game. Make a list of things, count your blessings, start a novel, copy down some poetic lines you have read, write a movie review, revisit a favorite place, anything that can move you, it can move your reader.
Miss,
Yes.
can we write our own poems?
Yes, why not? It's just down there, Shiza. This is Aisha Ameem, right? I know. Yes, definitely you can write about that. Shiza beta, would you share if you have to be given an opportunity to write on anything, what would you be writing on? Like Aisha is saying, why not our own poem? Words need to be poetic. They need to create rhythm. You need to think, right? You need to take a bit of,
That happened with me.
sorry, beta, come again.
Maybe the funny events that have happened with me.
The funny incidents that have happened with you. If you can think of something funny, we'll get into what actual incident that happened with you would turn out to be a bit funny. I hope not embarrassing, but yes, funny. So you see, you need to connect. So this part says, we were right over here. Aisha Meem, would you please read from here till here, this part?
Yes, miss. Revisit a favorite place based in an article that made you think. Put in fresh flowers someone gave you. Draw a cartoon and explain. Write a problem. Write a poem. Write a lead to an editorial. Write down a dream you had and don't ever want to forget. Who are your real friends? Try an exercise from English class.
Hmm. Try an exercise from an English class. Copy a poem. Write down great lines from the book you are reading. Tape in an object. Describe your dream car. Use it in a story. What do you think people think of you? So there are a lot of interesting stuff that you can incorporate in your writing. You need to be inspired so that you can inspire others. It's almost like what goes around, what comes around. So what write down question you have about anything, write about other things in your writer's notebook. Eat a peach. Try to describe, how fresh and juicy it is, what color changes it has, something that can give you pleasure, perhaps spreading Nutella on a slice of bread and in munching away your worries and just thinking, okay, perhaps I'll get slim and smart in no time. Something to do with a movement, a kind of, seriously, it has to be a revolution within your writing process. Taste the wind, the freshness of it, and try to describe. Hear voices of people you have never met but are sure you know. Plan something, draw and explain an invention. Be a smart aleck. Find out who you really are. Write about an issue important to you. Write a song, maybe. These bullet points are enough to inspire your ideas. A lot of people say when we sit down and we start to write about, we don't know what do we need to write. So a bigger part is, what am I preparing you? I'm preparing you for beta extended writing. I'm preparing you for extended writing. This comes as section B as well as section A also, but section B, where you have narrative. And a lot of students have the tendency to much more in narrative. In the first place, beta, we are starting with the narratives or descriptive so that you can be on the track. And then I can make you take a U turn all the way towards some of the styles of writing editorials, or perhaps news letters, or it could be magazine article. So yeah, it is more or less to deal with that. I hope that you're really trying to understand. And this important part, which is write about angels. If life, if I've been given an opportunity, I have asked you, nobody asked me. I'm telling you that I would definitely be writing about angels and how I think they have the power to, to have every single desire to, to fulfill. I would write about, it depends upon you whether you want to talk about some demon angel, you want to talk about some, the way you wish to talk about, in what context. Then the task will be given to you, but not now. We are now going to look at, now, here you need to hold on to your notebook, and this is 8 ways to reveal character. When you read the novels, you would realize, by the way, are you reading anything these days? Any book, any novel that you're reading? Are you reading anything these days? Both of you?
Miss, from the O-level studies, we were so indulged in them that we couldn't really. read anything.
I have all the sympathies with you, but now that you're a part of AS English language, I would really recommend you to start reading a book side by side, not as like a chore, but rather more of an interesting part. Shiza, what about you? Or perhaps you have read a book that can perhaps move you. Think about a book also. I have given you a lot of recommendations in my very first class also. Try to have, because you need to be an avid reader at the same time. You need to be an avid reader when you're talking about paper two. Now, this is number one. You can always reveal a character through someone's actions. So, even without reading the text, if I need to tell you the action verbs are used over here. So, if you can see moved, whistled, right? There are so many other waved back, heading home, passed by. There we have, yeah, we've got pretty much yelled out, right? So we have actions, action verbs being used. As Kevin moved down the street, his feet made a steady echo. That means we are not going to have any dialogues. No dialogues. What I suggest you, in front of you must be a notebook, and you're giving up a heading, and you're saying 8 ways to reveal a character, and you're saying actions, and then you're writing no dialogue, but rather action verbs are to be used. Is it clear? You don't have to copy down everything because this is your resource pack, but however, you need to know that we have covered this part. He whistled despite the loud rumble of the traffic and the car horns when someone yelled out the window of his or her car to watch where he was going. He just waved back like he was watching a best friend heading home. So this person who is quite carefree and is walking down the street on a pavement and yeah, so it's a sidewalk, it's a pavement, and where people are walking. So this one character is using a lot of actions. So he's moving down the street. So one of the ways, because a lot of students end up, I mean, there has to be a technique by which you are starting off. Then you have number two, a dialogue.